I know. Is that another mouse shirt? I know. I apologize, but we got to keep talking about Boba Fett, which means there you go. So, hello, welcome back, everyone, to another One Take, where I take something off the screen, off the page, or out of my head, and we talk about it in the moment right now. So, away we go. And this is off the screen, this one, because this one is, again, we're talking about Boba Fett. I've been following the series. We've been doing the whole kid and caboodle the last few times. You can watch them, don't watch them, do whatever you want. That's what I say around here. And I'm just here to try to make you laugh and entertain. So, Boba Fett. We're going 6 and 7 this time. And no, not 6 and 7. Ugh, scratch that. We are going 5 and 6. We're doing episodes 5 and 6. That's what we're talking about. And oh my goodness, Boba Fett is putting together an army and he's about to go to work and then he's about to go get the main squeeze. The main squeeze, which is the Mandalorian. And I was like, yes. And what do we see the Mandalorian doing when we meet him? Doing what Mando does best, which is bounty hunting. But this time he's got a little help from, that's right, the dark saber. And my goodness, is he swinging that thing around and cutting people in half. And I love that little moment right after all that where he's like looking at the workers and the workers are like stunned, right? Like, would you be in that situation? Like, you're just sitting there like, oh, what's all that noise in the, oh, it looks like, oh. And you're just frozen with fear. And the guy that just killed everybody walks out, and you're like, oh no. Oh no. And this guy goes, hey, look, we're good. My business was with them. There's a lot of money in there if you guys want it. I'm going to go this way. You guys go that way. And everyone's just kind of like, let me get in their heads, of course. Let me get this straight. You just did all that. You walked out here. We got no weapons. We just work here, right? And you're offering us to go in there, get all the money that we want, and then just walk out of here, and all we have to do is not attack you, which you just took out everybody. So, yeah, sounds good to me. Everybody agree? Like, so we're gonna let's do that. This is a perfect way to enter. And then I thought, okay, now he's gonna go and catch up with Boba Fett, and that's it. No, we're gonna stay with Mando and hang out with him as he like travels along and picks up kind of right where we left him off in his show. Which, what? That's a way to. These episodes are starting to have so many things of like, hey, go watch this because this is how good this is, and also this is kind of a reminder of that, so go watch that. Speaking of that, real quick, the nostalgia in these two episodes, my goodness, there are two moments, and you know what, spoiler alert, we're not even going in train of thought here, we're just spitting to have some fun. And okay, two moments. One, there was Mando getting a new ship, which is a Naboo starfighter. Say what? And it's faster than fast, and it's going through the canyons, kind of like a certain pod racer did, and it right in the feels. Did it not? Did it not make you want to watch episode one? You're not supposed to say that. The prequels, like the no. I mean, because that hit me right. I was like, ooh, this feels right at home when he's swerving through the canyon like that. My goodness. And then the other one, of course, is there's a little green guy. We know the name. Jumping up and down and hopping all around like a certain someone did. And also those movies that we can't say were, I mean, it's the prequels, right? That makes you want to watch 1 and 2. In 2 episodes, they made you go, hey, look. Also, if you see how good this is, go watch The Mandalorian. Also, you should stop here, right? If you haven't seen The Mandalorian, and I know, like, after I just said all that, what? But if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, you should go watch that before watching episodes 5 and 6. Yeah, and then you could, return to whatever you were doing. But or just keep going, do whatever you're gonna do. But 5 and 6 picks up right where Mando, and then it deep cuts to episode. Okay, so what? Those were super cool. And then the dark saber, which we get some backstory on, and that is just a lot of fun watching and two Mandalorians fight over the saber because that's probably going to be happening a lot. And I don't want to dive too much into it because this is all about the Mando. And now I really need to talk about the Mandalorian and go through those episodes again because I did not think they were going to just stay here. Remember in the last episode, I was talking about, the last episode of this show, the last episode that I was talking about how they were staying in the past like longer than I thought they would, and then being pulled in the present and staying in the present, and then going back and forth and like doing their own, like you couldn't really tell whether there is going to be like a quick scene or we were going to stay there for a while. And I really did not think with Mandalorian, I thought we were going to see the bounty hunter scene, see him slicing and dicing, and then that was it. And now we're with him for a long time in his own kind of storyline. Like he goes and fights with the sword against another Mandalorian. Sweet. And they also get rid of the spear. Whoops. And, well, they burn it and melt it and make it into armor for a certain little guy. What? And so it's just so many crazy things are going on in this show. And I'm super excited. Also, we see the sheriff come back. I mean, and oh man, again, the Mandalorian. But they brought everybody. If you were in the Mandalorian, you're over in this show for the most part. You got Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka, the sheriff. Oh, and the sheriff. I loved his entrance, and man, the person that came in to, my goodness, he has such a short part that I don't want to like give it away. It's still one of those things where like I don't want to talk about it yet, but whoa, what? That is really cool. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, and there's Luke also talking with Ahsoka. Can we talk about that for a moment? Because that's like really touching. Because of course Ahsoka trained under Anakin, so it's like Luke is his son. So Luke gets to talk to somebody who like knew his dad when his dad wasn't all. I'm sorry, that was terrible, and I apologize, and I won't do that ever again. I'm not even gonna try to attempt to do it right. That's the first and only time we're ever gonna do that. There you go. But anyways, so that was a cool little moment. And then there was also just like some things that I was kind of like thinking about outside of the show. Kind of like, I still can't figure out what I want to call this, but abstract ideas or just ideas that don't really correlate, but I want to go off and talk about. Like there's one scene where, he's training with the dark saber, and it's like getting heavier after every swing, and the person's basically like, you can't keeps fighting against the blade. And one of the things that is kind of said is persistence without insight will lead to the same result. And I was like, that really just kind of like stuck in my head, because it's one thing to like keep going at something and keep tackling something, but if you don't take anything in from that experience, you're not trying to like learn and apply those things each time you try it, then you're not going to learn anything. And that was one of the things like she noticed is like he just kept swinging it over and over again with the same result, not understanding or learning anything of why the blade is fighting him. And I just thought that was like a really interesting just like quote in general. It's just like that idea of persistence without insight will lead to the same result. Like you can keep trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, but try to learn and gain some insight from what you're doing over and over again. So each time you do it, you apply it, you try and do it a little bit different and a little bit different and a little bit better and a little bit better until you finally like succeed, or you take something away from it. And it's that idea of continuing to do it but getting something out of each try, even if it's a failure. And I thought that was just a really interesting idea, kind of played out in that little moment. And of course it's something that I would just hit me as something like I could do more of, right? Like as I continue to try and do things, try and take something out of it instead of just like, oh, I didn't do it, or oh, it sucked. Like I can look at it and go, oh, wait a minute, what did I do wrong? And maybe I can try it a little bit different this time. And all right, I didn't succeed, but I succeed in this area, and I can try it like this. And keep going at it. And that way, as I keep tackling it, I will eventually finish or complete it, or at least I will take something out of the experience instead of just, banging my head against the wall trying to do something. I don't know. That was just kind of like my thoughts and opinions on it, and I thought that was really interesting that that was kind of brought up, especially, well, in the terms of like their aspect of like their planet and their people as like warriors, and that kind of aspect of that culture of being a warrior, and those kind of like foundations of things that really help allow them to pursue and continue during the harsh times and the difficult times, to accept new challenges and overcome those challenges. So anyways, I thought that was really cool. Also too, at the end, Grogu was offered like a choice between basically like becoming a Jedi and becoming a Mandalorian, and that was super. Of course, like I mean, I don't know what his decision yet is, but it was really interesting to see. It's kind of like for me the way that I was looking at it, and again, I was just having like some thought about it, but it was basically like choose a path, right? Like you can't be in both lanes. You gotta choose a lane. Like the choice is up to you, but you know choose a lane and kind of stick with it. Especially when these two lanes are so conflicting. It's not like they really align. Like we kind of learn like even their avenues, their personalities, their thought process are completely different. Jedi is supposed to let go of things and not have materialistic, ideas and things like that. And the Mandalorian is almost the complete opposite of that. So it was really like an understanding of like you really have to kind of choose a path. The choice is up to you, but because these paths are different, you need to choose, and that choice will kind of lead you into the next phase of your life. And I just thought that was really interesting that the choice was yours, but you kind of have to choose a path because a lot of times, especially me, I want to do it all. And you can do it all in a certain aspect if those things kind of line up with each other. But if they're too separate and you don't kind of choose, the conflict will be too great and you won't be able to be one or the other, especially in the case of being a Jedi or a Mandalorian. I don't know. Again, just some thoughts that I had, and I thought they were really cool. And I think the show is really interesting, and the storytelling is really great, and that's probably why we're even having this conversation in the first place. So I cannot wait for the season finale. And there you go. There's another one take. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll catch you guys all on the next one. Enjoy and do whatever you guys want. Later. Until next time.